Hi everyone, I hope everybody's having a good week so far. Our presentation is on the pratfall effect. The pratfall effect is the tendency for interpersonal appeal to increase or decrease after an individual makes a mistake, depending on the individual's perceived ability to perform well in a general sense. Before we start with what all that means, we will look into where this came from and which experiment coined this term. So this was coined after a study led by Aronson called the pratfall experiment. In this study, 48 subjects listened to 4 audition tapes from a trivia show. The other 2 tapes are identical to the first 2, except that the participants both spilled drinks on themselves during the auditions. The researchers found that the knowledgeable person who spilled the drink on themselves was actually rated more likable than the rest, including the knowledgeable person who didn't spill the drink. So, because of this experiment, they found 3 things. First, it's okay to make mistakes if you're considered generally competent. Second, the effect of pratfalls rely on context, things like gender and race, etc. And third, that mediocre individuals are more likely to experience negative consequences when committing social blunders. So here's some examples to help you better understand what's going on here. So let's say you have this professor and he's your favorite professor. You think he's very intelligent. You really enjoy his class. And he accidentally curses in front of the class. According to the pratfall effect, you'll like him even more than you did before because it made him more relatable. However, let's say that it's a teacher that you really dislike and you think they're bad at their job, they assign too much busy work. Because of the confirmation bias, you'll tell yourself, or you'll add that to the list of reasons you don't like them. And you'll actually end up liking them less than you did before, or at least just disliking them the same. Another example could be your crush tripping or doing something embarrassing and you find it charming. The pratfall effect also explains why self-deprecating humor works so well. You can see this used by well-known and well-liked stand-up comedians in their acts as a way to get their audience to relate to them. So we have this as an example, a real-life example. This incident you might remember was Jennifer Lawrence tripping up the stage as she goes to get her Oscar. As you can see, the captions say, "Jennifer Lawrence trips at the Oscars and still looks cool." And here's a tweet that says, "Jennifer Lawrence, the only woman who is still flawless when she trips up the stairs or on the stairs." And here's the video itself, just in case you forgot.
Nominated in this category for Winter's Bone.
So obviously whoever wrote these tweets and this article admires Jennifer Lawrence because rather than making fun of her, she is actually seen to them as more desirable. And in one of the articles, they even compared her to Cinderella. Okay, so what can we make of all of this? So we find it endearing when people we like or people we find highly competent make mistakes because it makes them more down to earth and more human. And we generally like when we can relate to others because it makes them seem less intimidating. People who are imperfect are less threatening and thus easier to like. Okay, and before we end our presentation, we want you to try and think of your own example of the pratfall effect in action. So we want you to think of one person that you like and a time that they made a mistake and how you reacted to it versus a time that someone you didn't like made a mistake, and think about your reaction to that. And that's it for today. Thank you guys for listening and have a great week.